Hi everyone, how are you guys doing? And sorry, I was trying to fix my earpiece. I should have had all these things set up before clicking live, but it doesn't always happen like that. How is greetings everyone? I'm live on YouTube and also on Instagram. So yeah, those who are joining us from Instagram, be aware that this will not stay for more than an hour, and you can always join us on YouTube. Let me put the let me put the link to the let me put the link to the YouTube live stream on Instagram for those who are joining us from Instagram, so that they will know. Let me let them know. Sorry guys, let me just post the link here. And I don't know what just happened, but I just sent the link. Let me see what's happening. Sorry. Let me understand what's happening with my. I don't know. I don't know what's happening with my Instagram. Listen, whatever it is, it's well. I'm on YouTube. Let me focus on the one I can control. Lord, give me the sobriety to Abby. That's how the okay. It has been posted, or has it? I don't even know. Well, it has not. I don't know. Where was I? All right, guys. Hi, everyone. Hi. How is everyone doing? Uh, wherever you are, tuning in from. I hope you guys had a wonderful day. Flipping Bullock is reaching us from Yorkshire, England. Uh, uh, Ashdale Regiment says she's doing well. I believe the rest of you are doing well too, especially those who are watching us from Instagram. I hope the live stream is doing well over there in Instagram, because right here I can't even see what's going on. There's kind of like this, whatever it is. And when I click on it, it doesn't go away. Anyways, today is going to be a very interesting live stream, I believe. We are going to say a lot of interesting things, and we are going to be reacting to one of the smartest person, right? There are so many smart people that have chimed in on the conversation of Israel and Palestine, and I think the person we are talking about today is one of the most brilliant. I mean, this person is way brilliant and way intelligent than Norman Finkelstein. I mean, it's more intelligent than Ben Shapiro. I mean, Ben Shapiro is a Zionist, obviously. So, I mean, Zionists are not intelligent, but this person is very, very intelligent. She knows, and is a lady, so girl power, girl boss, and she's black, so black girl magic. She brings everything into the conversation, and she's a Harvard graduate. Okay, I know I'm saying so many wonderful things about this person, and you guys are ready to hear what this person has to say. But before that, I want to know how all of you are doing. Oh, we have someone here from Turkey. We have a Yahoo from Turkey. I hope it's safe for you guys over there in Turkey. How is Turkey? How is Edwan? How is it treating you guys over there? I hope it's wonderful to be a Yahoo in Turkey. And we have my number one fan right here with us. Tuning in from South Africa. She doesn't even have to say it. I know. How are you guys seeing the just concluded election in South Africa? What do you guys think about that? Even though that's not what we are talking about today, but I just want to know, what do you guys in South Africa? What's the climate like in South Africa? Those in South Africa, how are you guys feeling about the fact that the ANC was unable to, get that majority vote that they usually get every election season? I mean, less than 50, up to close to, I've forgotten the percentage, but I think it's 40 something percent is what they got this year, this election, which is poor compared to what they usually get. As in, that's the percentage of votes they usually get in previous years. Like for 30 years, right? The ANC has had this, steady winning streak that has not been contested. And for the first time in 2024, things are beginning to change in South Africa. I don't know how you guys see it over there. I don't know if it is something that you guys are happy about, or if it's something that you guys are like, we don't know what this because I know that for the ANC will have to form a coalition. Sorry guys, this is not what this live stream is about, but I just want to, let this be my introductory segue. Anyways, the ANC need to form they need to form a coalition, right? They need to form a coalition, and the they have the Jacob Zuma party. I've forgotten what it is called, and then they have the Julius Malema party. That's the EEF, and if they form a coalition with those two parties, it's just going to be, back to what he used to. Nothing has changed because Jacob Zuma's party is like a faction that broke out of the ANC, and the EEF also is kind of like a faction that broke out of the ANC because Julius Malema was once, I think, the youth leader in the ANC, something like that, someone who had a position for the youths in the ANC, and then he started his own party, which is now EEF, and very racist party, by the way, as racist as it can be, unapologetically racist, the EEF. I don't know if you guys knew that video where they were singing "Kill the Poor, the Farmer." I don't know if you guys remember that video. If you guys are familiar with it, where people in red all over like filled, like the stadium was like filled to maximum capacity with people wearing red, and Jacob Zuma was leading this charge and was like, "Kill the poor, the farmer," and the poor is white people, the farmer, white people. So he was openly calling for anyway, it's not like he was openly calling for. Of course, the defense is always that is a song that was used as a form of, resistance song that was used to fight the resistance of apartheid in South Africa, something like that, But that's the kind of person he is, That's what his party represents, a party that wants to keep alive the grievance of apartheid. He always talks about a revolution and that sometime in the future it may be necessary to kill the Boer. So that is the kind of the option that Jacob Zuma has currently, to form a coalition with that kind of person. I mean, not Jacob Zuma, but Cyril Ramaphosa, rather, the ANC. That's what they have now, to form a coalition with the EEF or with Jacob Zuma's party. I've forgotten what it is called. And that's what is going on in South Africa. Okay, she's giving me the name. Thank you, Jazz. EEF and MK. Yes. Let me be sure. I want to check something. Give me a second. Major political, because there's one that is political party in ANC. I'm not saying that Jazz is not correct, but I just want to check something. She's definitely correct. But what is the name of the? I can't remember their name right now. What's the party that's like what's not the party that is like the white people's party in South Africa? What's the name? It's not like it's white people or just owned by white people, but I think the person, their candidate, like people who, but it's seen as the white people's party in South Africa. What's the name? I want to know what the name of that party is, because it will be, yes, the DA. Thank you. The DA, the Democratic Alliance. The Democratic Alliance, I think they won the second majority vote. The ANC got 40%, and Nest was, I think, close to 20% of the votes in this just concluded election was from the DA. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they got close to 20%. Let me see, DA's vote percentage in SA elections. Sorry, guys, I just want to get my facts correct. And none of these sites are showing it. They're just okay. They got 26%, while the ANC got 43%. And I think MK, which is like a newly formed party, got up to like 13%. And 8%. And the EEF, how many percent did the EEF get? I don't even know. Let me be sure. Okay, ANC 43, the DA 26, MK 8%. Come on, nobody is talking about what the EEF got. I know they're like the most mediocre party I've ever seen, whose entire like what they are running on is just pure clear-cut racism. But yeah, they got something less than 8%, because I think the third majority is the MK. So yeah. That's kind of like what's the best bet for the ANC is to form a coalition with the DA. If that happens, then there is possibility for change in South Africa, because the DA will want to, put some level of restriction on how the ANC, operates in South Africa, and the level of corruption that they are notorious for. Hopefully that is what is going to be the case. So yeah, sorry, I'm giving you guys some African news as an introduction. And then, like I said to people in watching us from, to those watching us from on Instagram, rather, not from Instagram. Those watching us on Instagram, it's going to be for an hour, so you can just, once it ends on Instagram, you can just go over to my YouTube and, Nigerian perspective. You search for it, or you go to my page on Instagram. The link is there, and then you find the live stream, and then you can connect to us, because it's just going to stay for an hour. But here on YouTube, we can go for 2 hours or more. And although I don't even intend to stay for long on this live stream with what we are going to discuss, maybe we'll stay for like an hour, 30 minutes. Let's see. You usually overshoot, but hopefully we will not stay too long. Okay. So yeah, that's my introduction. The wonderful things happening in South Africa. And even though we've not started talking about anything that has to do with Palestine, Abdullah supports Palestine. Cannot wait to shout lies. These are like my number. People are so ridiculous. These are like my favorite commenters. These are people I like to see their comments on. When I see their comments, you always fill me with joy. Like, what am I saying that is a lie? What am I? Abdullah supports Palestine. What am I saying that is a lie? What am I saying thus far that is a lie? That the ANC got 46% of the vote in South Africa. Or is it 46? Maybe that's the lie now. I don't know. Maybe that's the lie. Let me because I don't think that is accurate. No, 43%. Oh, I lied. There's the lie. It was supposed to be 43, but I said 46. So that's the lie. Other than that, what else is the lie? That the DA got 26% of the vote in South Africa and the EEF got 8%. Abdullah, what is the lie? What are the lies? Because he didn't even say it was one lie, like many lies. Abdullah, what are the lies? Okay? Calm down. That's your name. End with la. Does not mean that everybody is lying, okay? Chill, bro. Anyways, let me not bother myself with Abdullah. Let me tell you guys, those of you on Instagram will not be able to see this, but those on YouTube will be able to see it. Okay, on YouTube, there's this wonderful commenter of mine who is currently going to spend like most of this live stream just debating something that has nothing to do with this live stream. Okay, he's just going to keep doing that. Just watch and see. He's going to keep, maybe until I put him on timeouts, he's just going to keep like making points or arguments that has nothing to do with what this live stream is about. It's just going to be like, you're lying. I'm like, lying about what? What are we talking about? Thus far, is a lie. Just, I'm here to debate you. Debate me. I'm like, dude, I'm not. I'm not interested in talking to you. But he's going to continue doing that, and the people in the comments are going to enjoy his contribution to the show. So this is like kind of like the side show that usually happens to alongside the main show, which is me talking and reacting to comments that actually have to do with what I'm talking about. And then there's the side show run by Abdullah. Okay, this is like the service that my channel provide for the average Muslim apologist. Okay, my channel provides like a side show for them. Under my videos and my live stream, they get the opportunity to run their own side show where they just throw ridiculous arguments that have nothing to do with what I'm talking about. So I'm just letting you guys know. That's what we are going to be seeing in this live stream. In case you are new, that is what you should expect. All right. What else do I have to talk about before we go straight into the video? Someone said, 80s gamer said, someone from South Africa once told me, it's Africa. We have one vote for one president for one lifetime, but maybe this is the exception. Yeah, the way the ANC for 30 years has been in power in South Africa is really amazing. Especially there are many African countries that have that, right? You have like in Cameroon, for example, the president of Cameroon has been there for more than 30 years at this point, right? One man, president for more than 30 years. Every election he ends up winning because there's really no election, no opposition. It's like a military government, but he's going to organize an election. It's like Vladimir Putin, right? He just organized an election for the sake of organizing an election. Let it look like they are doing something, right? But South Africa is different in that they have political parties. They have a democratic process. People who actually they did not sham of an election, like an actual election with that where vote counts, hold in South Africa. And people in South Africa, especially the blacks, keep voting for the same person over and over and over and over. The same party, not the same person, rather, the same party over and over and over and over again, despite how poorly they perform, despite how corrupt, despite the level of load shedding, state capture, corruption. Despite all of that, you're like, nah, it's fine. Despite how the condition of the country, the steady decline that the country is on, despite all of that, they keep voting for the ANC over and over and over again. South Africa is one of that unique case where you're like, what is actually going on here? Why are these people acting like this? I believe if it's Nigeria, quickly you see where we can have proper elections. If we can have proper elections in Nigeria, which is something we are dying to have in this country, we will not have the same political party over and over again. We'll keep in fact, our elections will be a way of will be a moment of reckoning for every leader that is contesting, or that is a candidate, every candidate in the election. Because if you do poorly, we will not vote you again. We'll definitely not vote you again. Even though you have some claim over some region, there's some people who, no matter what you do, vote for you. But Nigeria is so diverse. Like, you have 3 major ethnic groups. That's the major ones. And then the minor ones, you have close to 200. So we don't have allegiance to you. We don't have the white people problem that South Africa have, where everybody's like, let's team up so the white people will not, the white people, they are our problem. We don't have that, So I don't see how. Maybe that's the problem of South Africa. Maybe that's the problem of South Africa. If you remove all the white people, maybe finally South Africans will realize that they are not our problem in the first place, And I don't think it will be nice for them, because they don't even know how to. Most of them, not all of them. Let me not speak in general terms, but most black people in South Africa don't even know how to fend for themselves. Most of the population live on welfare. Like, when you're talking about a welfare state, that is South Africa, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, Abdullah is asking me if I have read the Quran. Abdullah, okay, I have not. Jesus, everything I've been saying has not been from the Quran. It's something that I found somewhere. I have not read the Quran ever at all in my life. Read the Quran? No, I've not. I do it a couple of times on this show, but no, I've never opened the Quran. I don't even have a copy. Never have I ever read the Quran. Are you happy now? Can you calm down? I don't think he would, but we can try. Okay, he said I should read. Okay, Abdullah, I will read it. I'll read it, Abdullah. I will. Can you calm down now? He will not. He will not. Anyway, today we are talking about Briahna. Briahna Joy Gray. Okay, Briahna Joy Gray. She is a remarkable woman, a black, strong, powerful woman, full of black girl magic. Okay, she's when you think of black girl magic, you think of Briahna Joy Gray. Okay, that's what this live stream is about. And she had a debate with I think what is it called? Something sorry, give me a break. Let me pull it up. She had a debate with trying to find the platform where the debate was held. Okay, Dissident Dialogues. Okay, so I think it's a platform that kind of hosts debates amongst like opposing views, something like that. And she and someone else they were on the opposing side of a particular topic, and two other persons were on the other side of a particular topic. And I think the topic was is Israel's war in Gaza a just war? One of the very important conversations that we need to have. Is Israel's conflict in Gaza a just war? And you already know my position on that. I support every Muslim. Okay? Let me stop being sarcastic before people will take me seriously. No, I don't support every Muslim. Okay? I don't. The war is just. But for the sake of sarcasm, I support every Muslim. The war is not just. Israel is committing genocide, right? Someone is saying valuetainment. No, it's not valuetainment. It's dissident dialogues. I think it's like a new platform. I don't think it's valuetainment. That's not Patrick Bet David's platform. Anyways, so yeah, she was on the platform and she had a couple of interesting things to say. So we are going to right now just go straight into reacting to the things she said before those on Instagram will have to say bye bye to us, or better yet, join us. So yeah, let's go. So we are going to start I had to put the video on this timestamp because I don't want to lose it. So this is where we are going to start the video from, and then we are going to react to some of the things she said. I already did a video about this, a short about this. I don't know if I should play that. Maybe I should start. Nah, I won't start with that. I will start with this and then play the short that I did about that, and then we'll look at other things that were said about this. And before we go to that, just send a super chat of 35 South African rand, I think. Good to see you in such good spirit, Frank, full of your Nigerian wit, and we are proud of that. 100%. Okay, 100%. And also, that's another opportunity to remind. Maybe I should leave that chat up so that people will remember that you can send super chats. Okay, send that money, send it to me. If you're a Zionist in the building, so I've been accused, guys. I have been accused, falsely, of taking money from Zionists, billions. People are like right now, the EFCC in Nigeria, they are investigating me for collecting money from the Zionists. Make the accusation true. Make the rumors true, ladies and gentlemen, by sending me money. Okay? Send me that money. Send me that Zionist shekels, the jizya, whatever it is you want to call it. Send it to me. Okay? So that the rumors will be true. Let us make the rumors true, guys. Let's make the rumors true so that Abdullah can have proof. Because Abdullah right now needs proof that I am indeed a Zionist shield. So give him something to satisfy his suspicion. Let it be that at least he can be, yes, I was right. Let Abdullah be right for once, guys. If you want Abdullah to be right, this is your opportunity. Anyway, let's get to the video.
Letting me talk.
No, and what I want to focus on is the bit of this conversation that's never had, and it's not part of the motion, but I think it's very important that we talk about it, which is how does this, at some point, please God, get resolved in one way or another? And the maximalist positions from both sides are quite obviously unattainable, certainly in my opinion. How do we find a way out of this rather than having a debate about what happened in 1967 and 1945, because it doesn't appear to me that takes the conversation forward. So, Jake, perhaps
So the question that Jesus, this guy's name, these Russian people and their names. In fact, all of you in the West and your names. Konstantin Kisin. The question, I'm very sure I just butchered it, but forgive me. The question he's asking is, what is the way forward? Moving forward, what can be done with the conflict between Israel and Palestine? What is can we, if instead of focusing so much on the history, the past, what is the way forward? How do we move forward? Because he believes that if you keep talking about, what happened in the past, if you keep talking about, 1948, 1967, whatever date you can pull out of your ass, even the ones that has no relevance to this conversation. I'm sorry I said as, if you keep talking about the past, there is no way forward if we keep dwelling on the past, which is a fair way of looking at it. Like, okay, if with all of the things said about the past being said, what is the way forward? What does the future? How do you resolve the conflict? Essentially, that's what he's asking. How do you resolve this conflict? And let's see what one of the panelists on the debate has to say.
I actually disagree with that framing a little bit.
Okay, tell me why.
I do believe peace is possible, but I think it actually requires a discussion of the past, because I think there does have to be a reckoning with the past in Israeli society in order for us to be able to move forward. And I want to talk about the United States as an analogy.
So he believes that there needs to be a reckoning, right? He said, we need to understand the past if we want to move forward into the future. If the region, if there needs to be peace in the region, there needs to be a reckoning and an understanding of the past. And, let us tell the truth about what happened in the past. And do I think that is possible to have the problem when you talk about the past, the history of the region, the history of Palestine, is that there is the Israeli version of events, and then there is the Arab version of events. One of it is true. One of it is true, and one of it is false. Okay, and I believe strongly, call me a Zionist. I mean, this will not be the first time, but I believe that Israel is sticking to the actual history of what happened in the region, the actual history of what has happened to Jews in the Middle East and North Africa. Okay, there is a need to recognize that. There is a need to recognize that for years, okay, Jews and religious minorities in Muslim countries, including British Mandate of Palestine, have been poorly treated. Okay, they have been oppressed, marginalized, attacked. There has been a systemic cultural discrimination of religious minorities in Muslim countries, and that needs to be accepted. And as part of the history of the Arabs in the region and the history of that region for the past 1,000 years and more has a lot to do with minorities, religious minorities being treated as dhimmis. And even so, today, many religious minorities, even in the Arab world today, are being treated as dhimmis. If we do not accept that past, if we do not accept that reality, there is no moving forward. Okay? If people don't recognize that there is a legitimate reason why people are afraid of Muslim majority countries, and it has something to do with their track record, okay? And this is where Abdullah can become, can start advocating his views. Abdullah, I'm giving you your opportunity. So if we don't recognize the fact that Muslim majority countries and territories have been hostile to religious minorities, and that has been their history, track record from the past, and even there's evidence of it even in the present rather, and that has a lot to do with Islam, and that has a lot to do with the religion. If we don't recognize that, there is no moving forward. Because I think whenever people talk about the conflict in the Middle East, talk about the conflict in Israel, they make it look like, oh, these Arabs are just wonderful people who just want to live, as equals with people from other religious backgrounds. But that's not the case. That is obviously not the case at all. Nowhere there is a Muslim majority do we see that happen. Nowhere. So we need to recognize that, and it has never been the case ever. Okay? Even in the time of Muhammad, that was not the case. When Muslims became the majority, every religious minority felt it, especially the Jews. So,
in this country, we did terrible things to the Native Americans.
I want to go back a little bit. There's something he said that I want us to capture.
In Israeli society in order for us to be able to move forward. And I want to talk about the United States as an analogy. So, in this country, we did terrible things to the Native Americans. It was horrific. What we did in time was, after World War II, we gave billions of dollars in reparations to the Native Americans. We realized we were able to accept that we had done bad things. And we also gave Native Americans citizenship. Okay, which they hadn't had for much of American history.
This thing he just said is the problem of many people's understanding of what happens in the Middle East, what happens in northern Nigeria, what happens in North Africa. Is the mindset, I call it the misconception. I think it's safe to call it a misconception, because that's exactly what it is, a misconception. And what is this misconception about? Is this idea that what is going on in the Middle East is analogous to what's happened, let's say, in the United States, or analogous to any other conflict that we've seen, especially like what we saw in the United States, or what we saw in apartheid South Africa. So there's this misconception that so many people in the West have about the conflict that we are seeing right now unfold in Israel, or Israel and Palestine, between Israel and Palestine. Is the idea that, oh no, if we treat these people the same way Americans treated the natives, we can achieve peace and justice that way. We can achieve that. You can bring this conflict to an end by just doing that. But that is not what is going to happen. That is not the case. Do not compare what is happening in Israel to what happened to the Native Americans. First of all, there are a couple of problems with that analogy. Number one is the Jews are native to that land. Okay, the same thing with the apartheid South Africa analogy. Okay, whites who came to South Africa they were settlers. They were not native to the land. Yes, fair enough, fair statement. But that is not the case for the Jews. Okay, many of the Jews, a huge population of the Jews in Israel are Mizrahi Jews, which are people that are native to that region. They're not strangers to that region. Many of them are from Iraq, from Yemen, from many of them are even from Palestine, so to say. They were called Palestinian Jews. Okay, before the creation of Israel. So it's not like a bunch of people just came from nowhere. Yes, many of people who later formed the part of the population of Israel, people from Europe, like Jews from Europe. But how did they get to Europe in the first place? It's because they were driven out of the land. Some of them were sold as slaves in Europe. Okay, that is how they got. Some of them got to Europe. Some of them were driven out. That's how they got to Europe. That is what happened. So you have to recognize first that the Jews are native to that land. So it does not apply. Your South African apartheid analogy does not apply here. That is one. Second is, it also does not apply to America, because the Europeans who came to America were not native to the land, right? Unlike those we refer to as Native Americans, right? But that's not the case of the Jews. You have to recognize that and stop creating this analogy. Oh, it's just like what happened in America. No. Again, the other thing you need to understand for the Jews is that, yes, there is a reason. There is a valid reason. It's not Islamophobia, okay? There is a valid reason to be afraid of a Muslim majority. The reason why you need a Jewish ethno-state with a Jewish majority is that there is a problem when it is a Muslim majority. Okay, when there is a Muslim majority, it is a problem for every religious minority. And look around the Muslim countries in the world. Just look around every Muslim country in the world. And there is the proof that what I'm saying is true. Okay, there lies the proof that what I'm saying is true. If Muslims become majority today in Israel, they are going to just the same thing that happened in Lebanon, the same thing that happened when Muslims become majority in countries in the Middle East that were once Christian majority, will happen to the Jews. So that is something to be worried about. That is something to see as a problem, and not just like, oh well, if you don't want that, then you are racist, or then you are opposed to the idea of a liberal society that is diverse with people of different. No, and again, that does not negate the fact that runs contrary also to the fact that Israel is a diverse society with I think how many percentage of the population right now? With over 20% of the population are being Arabs. Okay, that is a reality in Israel. So Israel is not like, oh, there are no Arabs here, and these Arab Israelis have equal rights with every other Israeli. The point is, if we want it to be that way, if we want to maintain a society like that, it will not be possible with a Muslim majority. That is the truth. A diverse liberal society will not be possible with a Muslim majority. It will never be possible. So if you're talking about moving forward, how do you ensure that Jews can live freely in the Middle East? Don't talk about a Muslim majority. It's not going to lead to that liberal utopia that you want in the Middle East. It's not going to be possible with a Muslim majority. Let's continue watching. And
it's the right way to deal with something like this. And
give that some shape. What does that solution look like?
It looks like a right of return. So you have to have at least a little bit of that. I mean, if you draw the borders in the right way for a two-state solution, it's possible that won't necessarily destroy the Jewish character. But why is that something? I don't understand why.
I've just told you why that is a problem. I don't understand why Westerners, especially the ones that are in support of this right of return nonsense, like, I don't know why it is difficult for them to understand. Just look around you. Not around you, of course. They are not surrounded by these things. Just look around that region. Look around that region and you'll see why that is a problem. Why having an Arab majority in Israel is a problem. Look at just look around you and see every Arab majority. I'm not saying this like as somebody who is a racist towards Arabs. Okay, it's not even about Arabs again, it's about Muslims. Just look at every country where there's a Muslim majority and tell me where religious minorities are treated well. There is no place like that.
Michael is so like interested in protecting that exactly. Like, again,
well, I think his argument is if you have 7 million Palestinians return, then you're in a position where that's going to cause way more conflict and war, not less. That's his argument, I think. Is that fair?
It's about right.
Yeah.
I don't really think that's the case, and I think that's kind of ahistorical for the conflict. I mean, listen, a lot has happened, so things are different now. But the conflict.
No. If there is a right of return and if Arabs become majority in Israel, will it lead to conflict? No, it will not. But will it lead to injustice? Will it lead to oppression? Let's leave injustice. Will it lead to oppression of the Jewish population? Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
Really started by Zionists coming to Palestine, not to live just in a society with all these Arabs, but with the intention of forming a Jewish state on top of their country. And the Arabs didn't really like that very much.
So
and
your solution is to not have a Jewish state?
listen,
Briahna, you're nodding.
well,
So we'll
okay,
get to you.
Okay, listen, I think that is.
Okay, so here I have a threat from my. Come on, we've been having a wonderful time. Why threaten me? Say Nigerian. Okay, my name is not Nigerian. Calm down. Do you not have any time? I have warned you, and that is all I can do for the willingly. This guy keeps making me laugh. But how do you wake up? Oh please, this guy just. Oh God. Anyways, let's just continue, please. Let's just continue. This guy keeps making me laugh.
Just in a society with all these Arabs, but with the intention of forming a Jewish state on top of their country. And the Arabs didn't really like that very much.
So your solution is to.
This guy said that that the Jews came and formed a Jewish state in the country of the Arabs. So Israel was an Arab country. What country are you referring to? There was no country there. People recognize that there was no country there. It was the British Mandate of Palestine, a territory under the control of the British. There was no country. There was no Arab country there.
To not have a Jewish state.
Listen,
Briahna, you're nodding.
well,
So we'll get to you.
Okay, listen, I think that is both ethical and workable. However,
Not having a Jewish state is ethical. Okay, then let him make his point.
Peace is what's most important to me, and I really want to.
So how do we get there, right?
Yeah, and it's so I understand that, like, to get there, you'd have to convince the Israelis on the ground to want that. There has been hate that has developed amongst Palestinians over a century. Like, I certainly don't deny that. So there has to be changes in that society as well. It's a psychological shift. And that's why I say I do think we actually have to talk about the past and reckon with what happened with the past so that people on both sides can be able to say wrong things happened here and we need to move on and change. And I actually do think that was sort of happening a little bit.
Look, if it's possible to have a Muslim majority country where people will have equal rights, where people will not be treated as dhimmis, then nobody will be afraid of a Muslim majority country. Nobody will be afraid of that. But that is not the case. That has never been the case. And that is why there is a legitimate concern to not want to have that. And that is why, especially for the Jews that have faced, that have been persecuted by Europeans and persecuted by Arabs, you want a state where you are the majority. That way you'll be able to protect yourself, where you will not be at the mercy of others. You will not be at the mercy of Christians, nor will you be at the mercy of Muslims. It's just that simple. And I as a Christian understand that, especially when you see the history of oppression that even Christian entities like the Roman Catholic Church has inflicted on the Jewish population. You're like, it will be best. It will really be best if people have a state where they can actually defend themselves against this kind of thing. A safe haven for the Jews, for people that don't even make up to 1% of the world's population. They need that. They really do need that.
You hear so much about how the tone shifted in that decade, but it wasn't enough, and it wasn't going to go far enough. And ultimately, if there's some solution, listen, I don't know, this is literally the most complicated geopolitical conflict in the world. It's famous for that. And so any solution that can reach an agreement amongst these people and get them to stop
This guy should have just said he doesn't know, but I don't know. I don't know why that is difficult to say.
fighting and get them
Anyway,
to
we are
live in
going. We are
peace.
getting to.
I'm happy
we are
with
getting
that.
to
I hear you.
Briahna.
That's why I'm asking the
Yeah.
question. And
I
by the
know.
way, I'm not expecting us to solve it here, although that'd be nice. But I do think we have an obligation to think about how this gets solved. So, Briahna, what would your solution?
Now we're about to hear from the expert. Okay, we are about to hear from somebody who knows. He's a Harvard graduate. Okay, so everybody, get your pen out, get your pad out, and take notes. Something important is about to drop. Okay, so let's hear it.
Look like.
I think the idea that there can't be a world where Jews and Muslims, Arabs and non-Arabs live together is belied by the reality of history. Prior to
Okay, first of all, I believe that she seriously believes this. She believes that a world where Jews and Arabs live together in peace and harmony is possible, and there is historical evidence for that. Did she provide that historical evidence? Well, let's see if she did.
the founding of Israel, Arab Jews did live peacefully alongside Muslims in what is now described as Israel.
Let us run it back. For those at the back who didn't get it, let us run it back.
What would your solution look like?
I think the idea that there can't be a world where Jews and Muslims, Arabs and non-Arabs live together is belied by the reality of history. Prior to the founding of Israel, Arab Jews did live peacefully alongside Muslims in what is now described as Israel. And there was this quip about
I've never seen somebody say something that is so false and with so much confidence as if it goes without saying. Like we hold this truth to be self-evident, right? It goes without saying. I mean, is it even worthy to have that conversation? Look around you. The history of the region, the history of Islam proves that Muslims always live peacefully. Always live peacefully with every, of course they do. If depending on your definition of peace, they've always lived peacefully with every other religious group, you know. And yes, if your definition of peace is treating every other group as dhimmis, as second-class citizens, right? If your definition of peace is religious minorities paying the jizya, if that is your definition of peace, if your definition of peace is Jews saying is the Arabs saying Jews should not even wear shoes. If your definition of peace is that we're like what is happening to Coptics in Egypt, if that is your definition of peace, then yeah, there was peace in that region. If your definition of peace is the systemic, that real systemic, not the ones that black people talk, I mean real systemic oppression, where people don't, where I mean Jim Crow for religious minorities. If that is your definition of peace, then yes, there was peace in that region. And I guess that's the working definition that people from Harvard use. So, yeah.
About how there are no Jews living in the West, in Gaza. Why would there be? You had an establishment of a Jewish state that is the #1 welfare beneficiary of the United States of America, receiving more American aid than any other country in the world, despite obviously being more affluent than most of the countries in the world. I think there's a relationship there. Currently, there is a minority, but a significant Christian population in Gaza. One of the oldest Christian churches in the world has been bombed by Israel in the course of all of this. Congressman
Briahna, I know I'm not the level of your credentials are superior to mine, but as a layman, I know when somebody is deviating from the conversation and going off topic, and I think that's what you are doing here. Talking about a historical church, like a big church that has been existing since before even Jesus was born, being blown by the IDF in this war, has nothing to do with the conversation. Okay? Has nothing to do with the conversation. So stop deviating and stay on topic. I know it's something that people that go to Harvard, it's something that they are instructed not to do. Like when you're having a conversation, try as much as possible to derail the conversation as much as possible. Try as often as possible to go off topic. Whenever you get the chance, just go on this tangent and talk about something that is completely irrelevant to the conversation. The question is, what is the way moving forward? But let's talk first about a church getting blown to pieces, because that contributes to the conversation somehow. Now, what is the connection? Just wait, guys, patience, and you're going to see the connection. Hint, there is none, but somehow there is. Why I can't see the connection is because I didn't go to, an Ivy League school. I went to a Nigerian school, and the level of education from Nigerian universities is nothing to write home about. But, this lady has a better understanding. That is why we need to deviate for. Maybe it's also my chicken brain that is telling me that this is a deviation. It is not. Okay, I have to correct myself. It is not. It is part of the conversation. Very crucial. But we'll see.
Former Congressmember Justin Amash has lost family members that have been killed by Israel in the context of this. And even that wasn't enough to shake American foreign policy.
How do we get to a solution?
So I think that we have to not talk about Arabs as though they're somehow constitutionally different than Danes.
Let me react to this. As you say, Frank, you refer to Israel as an ethno state. It isn't. Many people of diverse ethnicity have Israeli citizenship from a Nigerian living in the UK. Okay, I get what you are saying, and it's true. I guess when people say an ethno state, they mean a state that tries as much as possible to wear one ethnicity. It depends on definition. And I know this definition I'm working with is not the definition, but it's the definition that people who accuse Israel of an ethno state mean. Okay, when they say Israel is an ethno state, what they mean is that there is a Jewish majority in Israel, and Israel tries to maintain that Jewish majority. So that is based on that. They're like, Israel is an ethno state. It's just like in Igbo land, in Nigeria, for example, the East is like predominantly Igbos, and we try to keep it that way. Though there are Yorubas and people from there, even Hausas here, there are Muslims here. There are people from different backgrounds here. Living peace, nobody's harassing them, nobody's doing anything to them. But the East is an Igbo majority region in Nigeria, right? The same with the West. The West is a Yoruba majority region in Nigeria. Yes, there are people of other ethnicities there. The West, especially when you talk about Lagos, for example, Lagos is very diverse, like extremely diverse. You get, but it is still a Yoruba majority. So when people accuse Israel of being an ethno state, they're not thinking of Greece. They're not thinking of Maldives, for example, that is 100% Muslim, right? In the Maldives, for you to become a citizen of the Maldives, you have to convert to Islam. That is a requirement. So when they accuse Israel of being an ethno state, they're not even thinking in that term. They're just thinking, oh, there is this majority. The funny thing is that the majority of Jews, the percentage of Jews in Israel is close to the percentage of Europeans, white Europeans, people of European ancestry in the United States. It's about 70%. It's the same, but America is seen as a diverse society, why Israel is somehow considered an ethno state. But I didn't make the rule. This is the rule that we have to use right now to make that conversation. And I'm like, okay, even if that is the case, in my argument, even if we are going to adopt the definition of these people who make that accusation, my argument is it's still not a bad thing that they try to maintain a majority Jewish population. So yeah. And yes, when you talk about ethno state, people forget that there are so many ethno states. If you go by the definition of the left, we are just having like close to 70% of the population being Jewish is the definition of an ethno state. If you go by that definition, then so many parts of the world have ethno states. So many countries are ethno states based on that definition, right? Even America will qualify as an ethno state based on that definition, But this is just a Nigerian talking. We have to, preface everything with that. It's just a Nigerian. Let's listen to the Harvard graduate. Okay, they know what they're talking about.
I don't know why we would essentialize populations in that way. We have to be open to the idea
Danes don't
that the
do
people.
October 7th?
Wait a minute. I don't know, and even that wasn't enough to shake American foreign policy.
How do we get to a solution?
So I think that we have to not talk about Arabs as though they're somehow constitutionally different than Danes. I don't know why we would essentialize populations in that way, we have to be open to the idea
Danes don't
that
do
the people.
October 7th?
Wait a minute. Muslims didn't do October 7th.
Not since the Vikings.
Muslims didn't do. Okay, she said Muslims didn't do October 7th. Maybe if you are referring to the entire Muslim population, yes, the entire Muslim population did not do October 7th. But the people who took part in October 7th, I guarantee you, not one of them is not a Muslim. I'm using double negatives, but the point I'm trying to make is this: every single one of them, we are Muslims. Every single one of them, we are Muslims. There was no Christian who took part in October 7th. There is no Hindu there was no person screaming hallelujah when October 7th was happening. There was nobody doing that. Okay? What was being yelled and screamed was Allahu Akbar. Okay? It is clear the religious group that was responsible for October 7th, and it is Muslims were the ones. They were the ones in charge of October 7th. They were the ones who see a religious justification for October 7th. Okay? It wasn't a bunch of leftists who believe in Marxism carrying out October 7th. No, it wasn't the Marxist ideology that was responsible for October 7th. It's Islam. Jesus Christ. That's somebody who wants to make it look like, oh, that's not the case. What are you talking about?
Gazans didn't do October 7th.
Gazans did October 7th. More than 50% of the people who took part in October 7th, we are not Hamas soldiers. Okay, majority of the atrocities committed on October 7th was not done by Hamas soldiers. It was done by private Gazan civilians. This is one of the things that people need to recognize when they talk about, collective punishment. There are innocent people in Gaza. I'm not saying there are no innocent people in Gaza. There are Christians, 14 of them in Gaza. Okay? Now, that 14 of them is a joke. I hope people understand. There are Christians in Gaza. There are also I believe that's the only religious group other than Islam that exists in Gaza, that can be allowed to exist in Gaza. Right? Yes, there are. But those are not people who did October 7th. It was Muslims. And they do not represent even a sizable portion of Gazan citizens. Okay? The Christians do not even represent a sizable population of those people. And most of them overwhelmingly support Hamas. And polling data shows that. Even though I think it's even more than 70%. But the polling data that we have concerning those who have support for Hamas, the Palestinians, is 70%. A huge percentage of them have fully support the attack on October 7th. So there this talk of, and many of them took part in it. So this talk of, collective punishment, they were not the ones responsible. And if you hold that view, you are somehow a racist. You are the same with Netanyahu. You are also one of those people that are, all those rubbish things that people want to use to discredit people who hold these views. It's just ridiculous because it is factual. It is factually accurate.
And if you're adopting the worldview that everyone in Gaza, the 2.3 million people, are responsible, then you are very much in line with Netanyahu's right-wing government, who thinks that and therefore thinks it's appropriate to. Again,
Briahna, you are deviating. Stick to the point. And she has done that. Like this has been a long-winded answer that has nothing to do even with the question.
Violate international law by doing collective punishment on the population, literally starving them to death, having them on the brink of famine, killing 13,000 kids. There was a very passionate description of the graphic reality of October 7th at the beginning of this talk. And I just want to take a moment to say that it's also true that we've seen video after video of Palestinian father picking up the piece.
What does that have to do? Briahna, what does that have to do with the question? Oh my God. My brain cannot handle the wisdom coming from this Harvard graduate. Jesus Christ. What does that have to do with the question? Baby picking his child to pieces. What does that? If you want to talk about atrocities, we can also talk about the women that we are raped. We can talk about the people, the families that we are burnt to ashes. What does that have to do with moving forward? What is the solution?
Of his children and collecting them in a plastic bag I totally agree. The question
Of
is
course.
why in Israel?
Briahna, let me
In
give you.
Israel, Israelis
Let me
are
give you 20
rioting.
more seconds.
Are rioting.
20 more
excuse me.
seconds if you want to talk
Yes.
about getting to a solution.
In Israel, protesters are protesting Netanyahu because of the news widely reported.
Jesus Christ, what does that have to do? What does the protest have to do with moving forward? What? Jesus.
Again this week that he rejected a deal to release all of the hostages on October 8th. There are people who have been living with no medical treatment. The American soldier that just had the proof of life without an arm.
I think this is how I've gotten it now. This is how people pass in Harvard, right? When the examiner asks you a question, right? If you go to Harvard, I'm giving you hints from what I'm getting from this lady talk. When you go to an Ivy League school, okay, when the examiner asks you a question, a direct question, and say, okay, explain this or answer this. And what you do is this. You ignore the question, okay? You create your own question. And you answer it. That question that you've created, you answer you answer your question, and voila, A+. That is how people pass in these Ivy League schools, okay? Because I really don't understand how this expert in geopolitics cannot answer the simple question and has to go around, talk about irrelevant facts and bring up this. I'm not saying, look, yes, is this question about people dying in Gaza? No. Is this question about the protests in Israel? No. Is this question about any of that? Is this question about if the Netanyahu government is good for Israel? No. Is this question about even war crimes, if possibility of war crimes being committed by either Hamas or Israel? No. This has nothing to do with any of that. Briahna, go answer the question and leave all these other points you want to make for when you go on the hill and you have your moment and then you talk over that white guy that is your co-host. That is your opportunity. Not here. Here, just stick to answering the question so they can go to someone else.
Because Netanyahu has made the decision to want to persecute this war and get, okay, the answer is.
You're not answering my question.
I'll answer the question.
Go.
I'm sorry, I do feel like a lot of responses.
20 more seconds.
Okay.
20 more seconds. The solution, please, go.
The solution is.
Exactly. 5.5, 5 plus 5 equals multiculturalism. Exactly. Just Jess says she's spouting Al Jazeera truths. I'm telling you, that's just what she's doing. She's just like to every question, I'm going to say something that Hamas will be proud of. Jesus Christ. That's just all she's doing. That's just all she's doing.
There has to be, I think there was a world where they had a two-state solution. America just said again, it's not demonstrated again, that's not a part of our policy, as evidenced by the fact that we vetoed the recognition of Palestine as a state, which is a path toward getting a two-state solution just last week. So there has to be a one-state solution, which means that there cannot.
So wait, her argument is because the US vetoed the UN resolution for a two-state solution, the only path available is a one-state solution. Like, you can have that resolution again, like come up in the future. You know that a resolution was vetoed does not mean to no longer arise again. Is she aware that, or am I wrong, guys? Maybe I don't understand how UN resolutions have been passed. Like once it is vetoed, you don't raise the resolution. In the future, that option cannot be presented again. It is gone. It is gone forever. As the US vetoed a two-state solution, which was proposed right after a terrorist attack by one of the people who are requesting for a state. You don't reward those people with a state. Like if you see, let me tell any person who supports a two-state solution and you are sensible, okay, and you didn't go to an Ivy League school, you will recognize that now is not the time to make that request. Now is so not the time to bring that conversation up. Maybe sometime in the future, we'll talk about a two-state solution, but not now. Not now. If not, you are going to make terrorists realize that if we want to get what we want, we have to engage in acts of terrorism. The message you are going to be sending to these people is that terrorism pays. And you don't want to send that kind of dangerous message to people who are radicals and people who have been who have been taught to believe that the path forward is violence. You don't want to give validity to that assumption they already have in their head. You don't want to do that. So that is why that was vetoed, amongst other good reasons. But that's one of the reasons. So to make it look like that can never come up again in the future, is like, what are you talking about? I believe that if the Palestinians put down their desire to wipe out Jews from the face of the earth. They put down their desire to destroy the state of Israel. If they let go of that dream, that cause, and embrace progress, even if they don't want to embrace progress, at least just kill that ambition and say, okay, you know what, we are okay with having a Jewish neighbor, like a Jewish state that is like we are okay with having a Jewish state as our neighbor. If their mind is open to that and they drop down the violence, then you can talk about a two-state solution. You can. But that is not where they are right now. That is the problem. That is not where they are right now. They are not in the position of even talking about a two-state solution. Even in the Muslim world, that is actually not a conversation amongst Muslims in that region. Two-state solution is not what they are considering. They want a one-state solution. And that one-state solution is the complete eradication of the state of Israel.
When Hamas is talking about eliminating Israel, it's talking about not killing all of the Jews. It's about eliminating the idea.
Okay.
It's about...
Leave it there. We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there.
It's about, let me just finish it, sir. Can I just finish the sentence? It's about eliminating the idea of a Jewish state.
Let us hear it again. Let us hear it again. It's beautiful. There are some things that are beautiful to hear. Let's hear it again.
America just said again, it's not demonstrated again, that's not a part of our policy, as evidenced by the fact that we vetoed the recognition of Palestine as a state, which is a path toward getting a two-state solution just last week. So there has to be a one-state solution, which means that there cannot, when Hamas is talking about eliminating Israel, it's talking about not killing all of the Jews. It's about eliminating the idea.
Okay.
It's about...
Leave it there. We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there.
It's about, let me just finish it, sir. Can I just finish the sentence? It's about eliminating the idea of a Jewish state. Ending a Jewish state, ending an ethno-national state, and having a state more like what we have in the United States of America.
This lady really believes that the goal of Hamas is not to wipe out Jews. Even though their 1988, I think it's 1988 charter expressly states that. And she's like, oh, but they've revised it. And I'm like, listen to them talk. They really want the eradication of Jews. That is the goal. Okay? That is the goal. The goal is the eradication of the Jewish population. The goal is to kill all Jews. Okay? It's not. But this Harvard graduate obviously knows better than I do.
Can I just respond to that one thing quickly?
Michael, we're actually running out of time.
Yeah, I'll do it very, very quick. The Danes point, I mean, the pluralism of the Danes. It's not Gaza. I saw a news story the other day, the AFP, that about the 5 Jews left in Baghdad, you see the most vibrant Jewish population in the Middle East. And that was the other Nakba, 700,000 Jews that were run out of. I visited a totally destroyed shell of a synagogue in
But according to Briahna, there has been a history of peaceful coexistence, despite the fact that you have the Jewish population in Egypt is how many people? The Jewish population in Yemen is how many? The Jewish population in Iran is how many? The Jewish population in Iraq is how many? The Jewish population in Lebanon is how many? The Jewish population in Jordan is how many? The Jewish population in all these North African countries, how many? The Jewish population in the Maldives, how many? Okay, and here she is talking about, there is proof that Jews and Arabs have always they've always been pals and friends and, happily living and coexisting together. The world was a beautiful place until the Zionists came. That's essentially this mindset it's the same. This is the mindset she's operating from. For her, white people, Europeans, I believe this lady, from the way she's talking, she sounds like an anti-white racist. And now she's now an anti-Jewish racist. And this is why I say that. Because the way anti-white racists they operate is the world was a great place until white people went around and started messing the place up. That's how they see Africa. That's how they see every other part of the world. Everybody was living in peace and harmony, having fun, doing cookouts and living their best life, playing music, dancing, having fun. The world was just this beautiful place, all right? And then white people came and we are just conquerors. They were going from place to place, trying to, having conquest, taking over land, colonizing and stuff like that. So for her, it's the same mindset with which you see the Zionists. Zionists are just people who went to the Middle East and created the problem in the Middle East. Wrong. Both things are wrong. Okay, the world was not this great place until European colonizers came. No, it was all messed up, and they contributed to the horrible situation of the past. Okay, was their contribution somehow greater than made some of their so in some instances, the contribution of these white Europeans or to the messed up history of certain region is greater and more recent, right? But it doesn't mean that that place was wonderful. No, it had its problems, so many problems. Okay, and in some way, and in some instances, these white Europeans were offering solutions to some of this problem, even though they were coming also creating problem of their own. We can recognize the bad and the good. This mindset of everywhere was wonderful and then these people came is ridiculous. It's something that happens only in movies. You know, the Earth clan and the water clan and the fire clan and the wind clan, we are all living in harmony until the fire clan was like, no, want to conquer. This is not Avatar. This is the real world. And in the real world, everybody is messed up until somebody became, mess it up even more or even less. Or sometimes just, we don't like this new person who came to mess things up. Or we have an issue with these newcomers. That's usually the case. But that's not even accurate when it has to do with Israel. Because the Jews existed in Palestine, and they too wanted a Jewish state in Palestine. And I'm saying Palestine as in Jewish mandate of Palestine. Let me look at some super chats. It's miraculous how my Instagram life is still going. Doesn't come to an end. That's interesting. Anyways, let me see some of the super chats I've not reacted to. This is from Jazz. She said, guess who was 52, followed Satan, kissed a stone, black stone, and last but not the least, a kiddie diddler. I don't know. Who is that? Gandhi? That sounds like Gandhi. Yeah, I think it's Gandhi that did that. And Hyde F10 just gifted 5 Nigerian Perspective membership. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And then we have from Boring Opinion LMP. You gave me an idea about a video, West Globalist versus Anti-West Globalist. I did? Okay, when you get YouTube revenue from that video, you pay me for inspiration. And there's Christy, this is your name, is it Ola? Or is it just Ola? I don't know. Anyway, whichever it is, thank you so much for the super sticker. And yeah, so that is that. Where are we? Guys, send in more super chats, send in that support. We appreciate it over here 100%. And let me once again thank Hyde F10 for the 5 Nigerian Perspective membership gift. And Christy for the super sticker, as well as every other person that has sent the super chat as well. So thank you, every one of you. Ola from Nigeria, living in the... Okay, so it's Ola. I just wanted to know because there's Ola, like one of those Western names. And then there's Ola, like Olamide and something like that. So, yep. Am I still... This is the person I'm referring to. Okay, so let's see where we can wrap up this video, and then the other things I want to point out with regards to Briahna Joy Gray, or Briahna Gray Joy.
Libya. And my guide said to me, that used to be something back in the 1930s. We had a thriving. That is the problem in the neighborhood, is that, it's Russia, it's everywhere. Jews have been pushed out. And that is not as if it is just the problem that is localized to Gaza.
Okay.
It's the region.
So a couple of minutes on what the solution is. How does this get solved? I know you said earlier that it's tough and you'd be making lots more money than you are.
You think that I'm going to come up with it in that short period of time?
Well, I would like to hear from all of you a step towards the solution. I think that's a reasonable ask.
A step towards the solution is the destruction of Hamas and the return of the hostages.
How do you do that?
That's a start.
Okay.
How do you destroy Hamas?
It's happening now. It's happening now.
It's not.
I mean, we had a conversation. If we believe Hamas's own numbers that 6,000 of their fighters have been killed,
So
that's a
you're
start.
you're
Okay, Brian,
comfortable.
sorry,
Yeah.
you've had your time. Go for it.
Well, I just want to say something. In a rare point of agreement with Briahna, that I agree that we should think about a world where Arabs and Muslims and Jews can live together in a peaceful civil society. But fortunately, that place exists. It's called Israel.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the point that I did not even mention. We need a country like what was obtainable in the United States. And although I said it kind of not directly to the point she made about we need something like we need something in Israel or in the region right now that is similar to what's obtainable in the United States. Like that already exists. It's called Israel. It already exists. Okay, something that looks like the United States for Jews, where Jews can have and is run by Jews, already exists. Okay, and in Israel we have Arabs in position of power. We have a Supreme Court justice in Israel that is an Arab. So whatever it is you are looking for, it already exists.
Now, my solution is very similar to Michael's. There are times in history when a particular group suffers such a massive military defeat that it creates ripples of discrediting of this kind of approach. And there needs to be a kind of reckoning for Palestinians to give up on their 100-year delusion that their freedom and that their sovereignty depends on the elimination of Israel. And I know that you are coming, Briahna, from a very good place where you say, well, everybody should live in peace in one state from the river to the sea. But in fact, what you're doing is you're feeding the delusion that's only going to get more Palestinians killed. What friends of Palestinians should say is very simply, this is never going to happen. You're not going to eliminate Israel, except half a loaf. And Israel changes on a dime. They have elections, it seems, every 3 months. So the point is, and by the way, the last government before this one had for the first time an Arab party in the ruling coalition. There are Arab Supreme Court justices. So if there was a viable Palestinian leader that said, all right, let's do it, let's negotiate a deal, I am sure the Israelis would say, great, because they just want to get on with their lives like, you know, so many other people in the world.
As small
How likely-
Duty,
how-
and he's in prison.
How likely is that viable Palestinian leader to emerge in the
Well, it can
circumstances
only
that we're in
emerge
now?
after everybody who believes that Hamas has, you know, all of this momentum, sadly, you know, bolstered by these moronic college students and professors.
Hamas
But-
is literally bolstered by Benjamin Netanyahu.
What? Say it again?
You're blaming college students for bolstering Hamas when we know that
You guys are the level of support they've gotten from the West is greater than anything you think Netanyahu did for them. The level of support and the Western like college students and whatever, you know, some leaders as well. You've given Palestinians this delusion that one day the state of Israel will cease to exist, and it will be in their lifetime. Many of you even say, "Yeah, it's going to happen in my lifetime." It will not even happen. It will not. It won't. It's a delusional. It's delusional. It's very delusional that the state of Israel will cease to exist in any way if it will happen in my lifetime. Is it possible? Who knows? But is it delusional to expect that now? Yes.
giving Netanyahu as
And some people, anyway, these people in the West are far removed from so many of the problems in the world. But do you know what that would do to the average Islamist? Let me not call them Muslims. Do you know what it would do to the average? Do you know the level of, do you know what it would do to? That will give them this sense of we can take over the world. That is what it will do for them. The boldness it will give them, the audacity it will give them. There are people you don't want to win. Sorry, I know this is something that some people know. There are some people you don't want to win. There are certain things you don't want certain people to win, because if they win that, for example, look at something. Look at the war in Ukraine, for example. The fact that war has taken so long, the fact that Russia thought this was going to be an easy win, and then it wasn't. And yes, they have gotten certain territories in Ukraine, but they've experienced difficulty. It wasn't as easy as they thought it would be. The fact that Ukraine has exposed how incompetent to a degree the Russian army actually is, and the Russian force actually is, that is a huge blow to Russia. Do you know what that does to this is an expansion, and they are expansionists too, just like the Arabs. They have this expansionist ideology of taking over territories and then being checked like that, and it not being easy for them like that. Do you know how it dampens their spirit and make them know, okay, we cannot really progress forward. This is not going to be as easy as we thought. We really don't have it. We don't have what it takes at this moment. Now imagine if it was the reverse, where it was like an easy thing for them to take over Ukraine, even all of Ukraine, kick out Zelensky and just take over the whole country. Imagine if that was so easy for them and the world did nothing about that. Do you know what they would do next? Every neighboring country will know that, okay, this is a problem. And for the Russians, they'll be like, yes, let's go on with this our expansionist mentality and take over more territories. The same thing for the Arabs. If they take over Israel, then they're like, yeah, let's try somewhere else. And for me, I feel the first place that some of them, their eyes will go on to is, West Africa. Let's try West Africa. Do you know they're also trying in West Africa to establish a caliphate? Especially in places like Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, northern Nigeria. Do you know what that would do to those Islamists in those regions who have been trying for a very long time to fight foreign armies in their region, who they consider to be the soldiers of the infidels? Like the French government, or in this current situation, Wagner, trying to quell the Islamic groups in the Sahel region. He's going to give them a major boost. And then the audacity they will now have, the level of attack they will start launching, especially in West Africa. You're like, yeah, this is good. The state of Israel should come to an end. And for you are only thinking about everything from this Western European mindset. You don't think you never for once step out of it to understand other regions and how other regions, the behavior of people from other parts of the world. You don't for once step out of your European, Western, American mindset. There is no way this is a good thing that Israel should cease to exist for anybody.
Quoted to you directly just now is the one that's bolstering him.
You factually misrepresented Netanyahu.
Solution.
College kids have more power than the man literally funding Hamas.
For the physical destruction, the utter discrediting, the total rethink, so that every single Palestinian who thought that maybe Hamas had the way to their dream palace of a Palestine from the river to the sea, and that they were like, we were being lied to. They've brought us nothing but misery. And then at that point, maybe there's a moment to say, all right, let's negotiate. You can't always get what you want.
All right. Can we get the slide with the QR code back up for people to be able to vote on the motion? And while that's happening, can I just say, I know it's been heated, but actually I wanted to acknowledge everyone up here for having what is, by the measure of this conversation, quite a civilized debate. No ad hominem, so please give it up for everybody.
All right, so this is the end of the debate, but not of the live stream in general. The other things, I don't know if I can get to that right now, but after the debate ended, there are some crazy things that happened, especially on Twitter, and even in the venue of the event that I think even made the whole thing even more interesting, because right now Briahna Joy Gray has gotten a new nickname called the DIY Barbie, and it was given to her by Konstantin Kisin. So yeah, interesting debate. But I don't know if we can get into that now. Let's try. So this is an article from somebody who who was in the venue. This article, oddly enough, is actually a hit piece, a hit piece against the organization. That is dissident dialogue, dissident dialogues rather. So this is a hit piece against the organization, but this was written by somebody who was present at this event, this debate, and this is what he said. The debate over whether Israel's war on Hamas is just was one of only 2 discussions I attended where there was substantive disagreement among the panelists. An online poll revealed that 71% of the audience saw Israel's war as just before the debate. As the only participant clearly aligned with the contemporary US left, commentator and lawyer Briahna Joy Gray, who served as Bernie Sanders' national press secretary in 2022, was jeered by the audience throughout. Having unwittingly chosen a seat near a vocally pro-war group of women, I had them mock Gray's voice, manner, and appearance. She's a clown with clown makeup, and shout at her while she was speaking. At one point, podcaster and journalist Michael, whatever. Sorry for saying whatever, Michael. I'm not going to pronounce this. At one point, podcaster and journalist Michael sneered at Gray's suggestion that Palestinians be granted the right of return. It's not as if 7 million Danes would be coming in, he said. When Gray suggested the comment was racist and asked what he meant by it, he said the Danes had never vowed to destroy Israel. True. But the Palestinians have, which is a true statement. Few left the Israel debate feeling optimistic or enlightened. Another poll showed that by the end of the debate, the share of the audience who believe Israel's war is just had increased by 3 percentage points. It's unclear whether that means people changed their mind after listening to the argument, or that more figured out how to log into the app and record their opinion. As soon as it was over, this is where it's important. As soon as it was over, Gray strolled out of the stage, tossed her mic to the podcaster Konstantin Kisin, and left as quickly as she could, pausing only to whip off. She was wearing a wig. Her heels rather, and throw on some flats. This is the most Islamophobic, racist audience I've ever seen, she told Kisin, her voice shaking. It's disgusting. I hope someone drops a bomb on this entire building. I mean, there's just something about Hamas supporters, right? There's just something about them. Sorry, I don't know if yeah. There's just something about them. There's just something about that. I want to highlight the part where she said, it's disgusting. I hope someone drops a bomb on this entire building. There's just something about Hamas supporters. At one point, when you continue to support and make excuses for a terrorist group, at one point, you start to sound like them. At one point, we don't know when it happens, but at one point, you just start to sound like them. And this is her sounding like Hamas. I hope someone drops a bomb on this entire building. And she said that right after calling everybody in the audience Islamophobic, racist, what have you. So they are Islamophobic, they are racist, but you saying you hope a bomb will drop on this and the entire building. It's like, oh yeah, this is me being the opposite of a racist, of an of a hateful person. I don't know. It's something. It's something. It's something to be investigated. Why are terrorist supporters terrorists? Well, I don't know. But that's kind of what happened towards the end of the debate. That's what she did. She was rude to the moderator, and she was hoping that or she expressed her desire for someone to drop a bomb on this entire building. On the entire building. That's on everybody who was attending. Somehow, does that include her? Was this Briahna telling us that she desired to also be a Shaheed? She could be the one with the bomb. But I guess she was just, in the moment, airing her frustration, right? Just like how white people in the moment will use the N-word to refer to a black person when they are angry. And the funny thing is that when white people do that, they are called racist. But somehow when a black person does that, or a black powerful woman, it's just women, being powerful. Black women, it's just black girl magic, okay? Nothing more, nothing less. Interesting. So that's what happened. And then she went on Twitter, and there was just this Twitter back and forth that happened, because let me show you on my screen. Because the clip of her, saying that the clip of her saying that Hamas will bring in a democracy, a liberal democracy like what's obtainable in the US, was being shared by so many accounts on Twitter, and she was responding to some of them. And some of the things she said is, "Oh, look! Hamas is not trying to kill, not trying to kill Jews. Look at their 1988 charter has been revised by their 2017 document that shows that Hamas is just fighting, the Zionist project." And of course, Hamas, after a couple of years, decided to change. They had a change of heart and decided, you know what? Let's not fight Jews anymore. Let's fight just Zionists. So. And that is her very valid argument to those saying that, are you stupid to think that Palestinians or Hamas doesn't want to wipe out the entire Jewish population in the Middle East? Do you think that that's not what they want to do? She's like, no, I believe that that's not what they want to do, because they revised their charter, Yeah. And we can clearly see that what Hamas did on October 7, where they killed both Jews, Americans, Africans, Chinese, people from different walks of life, ethnicity, when they attacked them and killed them on October 7, that was just Hamas destroying the Zionist entity, right? When they took, German citizens, Jewish German people, when they took the body of the two Africans from Tanzania that they killed, when they took their bodies as hostages, that was them trying to destroy the Zionist entity of Israel. That's how when you do that, that's exactly how you destroy Zionism. So, and this is Briahna Wu, not Briahna Joy Gray. This is a different Briahna, and this one is a white Briahna. And she was responding to what Joy said here. And what she said is, it's not a genocide, it's a conventional war. Talking about what Israel is doing in Gaza right now. I said it's a conventional war. Civilians die in war. And it's tragic, which is why it is unwise to start them. Maybe your Hamas bodies should give up their delusional fever dream of destroying Israel, since it led to nothing but civilian carnage, which is what any person who does not possess black girl magic will say. Of course, that's why we need black girl magic in the world, because if you have black girl magic, you will say something like this: I've been ignoring this goofy broad because I couldn't for the life of me figure out why she's relevant. But she's a good example of where hateful, genocidal, Islamophobic, emphasis on Islamophobic ideology gets you. Keep rooting for the mass murder of children, you murderous freak. You couldn't matter less. And clearly you can see some very valid arguments in whatever it is she's saying here, which I am heavily compelled by. Just very rational. These are some of the things that have been happening on Twitter with regards to the whole interview. There are a couple more. Let me see if I can find them. There are a couple more. Come on, where are the couple? Oh, yes, another. Okay? So this is from Constantine. This is Constantine Kissen replying to Briahna Wu when she, with her reply to. So you can see how this whole thing is going. Anyway. Okay, so okay, this is a different okay, this is Briahna Wu. She shared the video of Briahna Joy Gray saying something about how Hamas doesn't want to kill Palestinians, and she was like, here is Bri Joy claiming Hamas does not want to genocide Jews, despite it being their charter, claiming they want a peaceful one-state solution and that Muslims were not involved in October 7. Yeah, we all had that, which is a very rational thing to say. But according to Briahna Wu, it is a delusional fantasy. Come on, it's not. It's very rational. it was said by a black girl who possessed excessive black girl magic. So I don't know how that is not very. Anyway, it's people who don't have this magic will not understand. And Briahna replied by saying, moments after one of the pro-Zionists on the planet argued that Muslims we are unsuitable for cohabitation, unlike Danes, to wide applause, I make a forceful argument against ethno-nationalism and Islamophobia. She made a very forceful argument. Okay, some may call it a stupid argument, but they don't possess black girl magic. So she calls it a very forceful argument against ethno-nationalism and Islamophobia. We have to realize that that's exactly what she was trying to do here. What else? The moderator, and then she said something about the moderator, which is Konstantin Kisin, interjecting at every second. Of course, that's what Konstantin Kisin was doing throughout, just interjecting. And Briahna Wu said the moderator has a name, and this is his name. He has a lot more integrity than you do. Your forceful argument is just whitewashing Hamas. Well, some people will say it's not whitewashing Hamas. It's just plain stupid. It's the dumbest argument some people have ever had in their life. Okay? One of the dumbest arguments they've ever had in their life. But what do those people know? It's just whitewashing Hamas. You treat them like their safety patrol, and you treat them like their safety and their bloodthirsty rapists whose literal charter is to genocide all Jews. And then Konstantin replies, oh, don't mind her jib. She struggled on the night, stormed off crying through mic at organizer after failing to answer a single question. Well, she answered it in the most effective way possible for somebody of her caliber. And reading the comments on the video, even pro-Palestine people were embarrassed by her behavior. Leaving your echo chamber is painful. And wait, before we go away from that. And then then, of course, Briahna Joy Grace said, a lying Zionist. Who would have thought? I mean, at this point, I think we can replace, I don't know if you guys can see what I'm reading here, because I think it's kind of small. Sorry, guys. He said, a lying Zionist. Who would have thought? At this point, I think she can just replace the word Zionist with Jew. You know, just like how people like Nick Fuentes fans and the Groypers will be like, you lying Jew. She can just do that. Or maybe it's because she's left-wing, so she doesn't want to co-opt. But left-wingers are experts in co-opting, aren't they? Or am I missing something? Anyways, she's a Harvard graduate, so. Oh, so it doesn't, I don't know, what am I trying to say? So this is someone else saying, it is easy to dismiss Bilbri Joyce shilling for Hamas and excusing their rape and murder, but it's also representative of a disturbing growing view from the extreme progressive left. Well, if that's what you want to call them, extreme progressive left, I call them people that possess black girl magic. That's what I choose to call it. Everybody can call it their own thing. And as you can see here, Briahna Joy Grace, like every word is factually accurate and morally grounded. Thanks for sharing. Watch the debate in full to see the depth of anti-Arab hatred used to justify the genocide of the Palestinian people and the lies told by Zionists to launder their ethno-nationalist goals as in the interest of the United States of America. Yeah, that's what happened in the debate. Yeah, I believe that 100%. So you can see the great things that have been happening on Twitter with regards to this wonderful exchange here. So what else? I want to get through some other wonderful things that she said about the interaction. What else? Be patient with me, guys. The other things that she said. Okay, so this is somebody saying over and over again, Briahna is an evil and anti-Semitic B word. I think she has black girl magic. I don't know what else you want me to say. And she was like, what a rebuttal. What a rebuttal. Yeah, after calling her, after insulting Briahna Wu, she's now talking about what a rebuttal. But then self-consciousness is not something people with black girl magic can be accused of having. And then this Briahna Wu said, I'm rooting for death. I'm not rooting for death. I have called for a ceasefire repeatedly, and she has. And I support our president's effort in the ceasefire. I also strongly publicly stood against Rafah. But I'm also smart enough to understand just because something is bad, it's not a genocide. Genocide requires intent. The truth is you are a liar and you misinform your audience. She does more than misinform them. You morally load argument because you cannot win them with the truth. You don't deserve the opportunity our country has given you. You are more entitled than any white man I've ever met. I mean, why won't she be more entitled than any white man you've ever met? She has black girl magic. And then Briahna is like, you don't deserve the opportunity our country has given you. You are more entitled than any white man I've ever met. The racism is loud, all caps, loud. For the record, this country didn't give me opportunities. My ancestors fought for them. Yes, and they instilled me with black girl magic, including fighting in the civil war, just part of why I relate to and support the Palestinian fight for self-determination. AKA, I am projecting African history into Middle Eastern history like I am supposed to do. As a sensible person, you project every other form of conflict to something that has nothing to do with that. Yeah, because black people fighting in the civil rights, not civil rights, black people fighting in the civil war and the civil rights movement is just the same. It's similar to Hamas, raping women on October 7 and burning babies. Yes, they have a lot in common. You can just see the similarities. If you cannot see it, then go to the market and buy yourself black girl magic. Sorry, I'm just rambling and rambling. Let me take a break. Okay. Let me take a break and look at what is being said in the comments section. Or in the comments. Let me see. Oh, this is lovely. This is from Anya. Sorry. This is from Anya Umesi. Anya, I don't know if that is an Igbo name or if that is a funny name, foreign name. Sorry. It looks like an Igbo name. But now because I've seen so many names, I don't know how to even pronounce Igbo names again. So sorry if I'm butchering your Igbo name. She said that is if it's even an Igbo name. I've because I saw Anya there. And then the other one, I don't even know if it's sorry. Anyways, the point is this person sent a wonderful and a generous super chat. Thank you so much. So thanks for being a sane voice. Sometimes it feels like we are in a twilight zone with these people. Yeah, and I'm trying to, to make it as fun as possible. That's what we are trying to do here. It's just interesting. And Briahna was the one who brought up Danes. Actually, if you watch the interview in full, she wasn't actually the one who brought up the Danes. It was one of the persons from the other. If you watch it in full, she wasn't, because remember we watched just the ending, towards the ending of the whole thing, and the link is in the description of this video. You can watch the full. That's the YouTube description for those who are watching us on Instagram. The YouTube description is where you find the link to the full thing. Okay, so in her defense, she wasn't the one who brought up the Danes. This is from Danny. It says, Zionist dollar. If you support Hamas, is it Islamist? Well, so if a Muslim supports Hamas, in my book, that Muslim is an Islamist. Well, he's a Muslim. He's just being a devout Muslim. It's just a devout Muslim. But we now have a new terminology for devout Muslims, which is Islamist. So we'll run with that. But I think any Muslim who supports Hamas is just a devout Muslim. But people support Hamas for other reasons, right? Especially non-Muslims, like people like Briahna Joy Gray. They support Hamas because they are doing a lot of projecting. They are making analogies that are stupid. And they think what is happening in Palestine is similar to something that happened to their grandfather, whatever that is. Anyways, what else? Yeah, she said Zionists would rather attack me than directly defend genocide they are backing in Gaza. As you can see, one thing she's also an expert in doing with her black girl magic is to throw out the word genocide. But she's not throwing out the word genocide, she's also using the word Zionist. And she's using it in a rather derogatory way, but Zionist is not a slur. except when it's in the lips of someone with black girl magic. And what else? What else do we have here? Let's see. Okay, this is Constantine Kissing called her DIY Barbie. Said DIY Barbie is upset. Now there's a longer tweet, but she just cut up this part because this is the part that really got her in her feelings. And then he said, "This is from the neutral moderator of a debate on Israel's genocide in Gaza. You simply cannot argue with racist." Yeah, Constantine Kissing is racist. On the upside, they were exposed themselves because he called you DIY Barbie. All right. And now let's look at the full thing that Constantine Kissing said. Here's the full tweet. He said, DIY Barbie is upset. Imagine participating in a debate about Israel and Palestine. Imagine answering literally zero of the questions you were asked. She actually didn't answer anyone. Imagine talking over everyone else. If you watch the full debate, that's what she did. She was talking over other people. She talked a lot. In the full debate, she did not conduct herself well. She talked over other people, talked even over the moderator, interrupted a lot, you know. But then, what do you expect? She has black girl magic. Imagine talking over everyone else and being disrespectful to fellow panelists and the moderator. Imagine storming off stage afterwards, screaming that everyone is racist, telling the moderator that I'm not doing this again, and throwing the microphone at the debate organizers. Imagine them complaining online that your abject failure is the fault of the organizers, moderators, and crowd. I mean, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Then Constantine Kissing said, "No one cares about your race, Briahna. This isn't Harvard." What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say, Constantine? Are you trying to say that? Well, anyway, I know what he's trying to say. And this is a funny. This that I was hoping I would not miss, and thank God I did not. This is from Ridvan, that's the apostate prophet, and he said she couldn't answer questions and make coherent point because she was distracted by your racism. Anyway, Briahna said, "Don't worry. For all the university problems, no one would confuse the quality of your thinking or the quality of the debate you moderated for the quality of discourse I came to expect from my peers at Harvard College or law school." Oh, please, Briahna, just shut up. Okay, sorry, don't shut up. Keep talking. Who am I to insult a black queen? Sorry, just keep talking. Keep talking. Okay, just keep talking. And then he also pointed out the fact that Constantine Kissing went to Edinburgh University. I don't know what point she was trying to make. And if you need to watch, go on her Twitter. Everyone in her comments, most people in her comments are just clowning her. But it doesn't affect her. This lady is powerful. Like, there's nothing you say to her that kind of register, except what has already registered, you know. And there you have it, guys. So yeah, that is how the debate went. It was very interesting. It was a very interesting debate, and what happened afterwards was also very interesting. So yeah. And that's all. That's. Is there any more super chat that I'm missing? No, I've looked at all of them. I have looked at all of them, and so this is. Let's see how we can wrap up. Let's see. So yeah, let me start by making a couple of interesting announcements. If you are on my Instagram, you can see like that the pinned chat on this live stream is the link to my Twitter. And please, 98 of you watching, if you have not followed me yet on Twitter, go now and follow me. And for those of you who watch subsequently, follow me on Twitter, please. I'm pleading, I'm begging. Should I do something? Should I give like a promise like I did before to get up to 200 members? Should I make that kind of promise? I'm weary of making any more promises right now, because I'm still trying to fulfill the last one I made. So yeah. Anyways, what was I trying to say? Please follow me on Twitter, please. Follow me on Twitter. The next live stream, just as well, will be the next live stream, which is somehow funny enough. That's the next announcement I want to make. The next live stream will either be on Friday or on Saturday. Friday or Saturday. And I'll be talking about Surah Al-Baqarah, because Surah Al-Baqarah is like the longest surah in the Quran. I hope Abdullah will join us so that he can follow me in reading the longest chapter of the Quran. So we are going to be talking about Surah Al-Baqarah because it's so long. I was like, I can't, to make a video about this would be like a 1 hour long video. So let me create a slide instead and share that slide and the points on the slide on a live stream. So that's what the next live stream will most likely be about. If it's not about that, then we'll talk about something else. But it will either be on Friday or on Saturday. But I think it will be on Friday because on Saturday, I am most likely going to have a guest. I've not confirmed it yet, but we are in talks and I'm most likely going to have a guest. The guest is not David Wood. It's not. For those of you wondering who the guest is, it's not David Wood. My live stream with David Wood would be, what is today's date? This is 4th of June, right? Today is 4th of June. It's probably next week or the week after. I don't know, but probably next week or the week after. We are talking. We are in talks. I don't know if that is how it is said. We are communicating with each other. We are talking about it. We are trying to, find a time that is suitable for both of us. So yeah, we are, fingers crossed. Hopefully it happens. Maybe next week or the week after. We'll see how it goes. Or maybe next month. We don't know. But we are in talks. What else? What other announcement do I want to make? Well, that's all the announcement. I don't know if there's any other one. Anyway, like the video. I should have said this earlier, but yeah, like the video. Subscribe if you are not yet a subscriber. Subscribe. And yeah, so you can, and ring the notification bell. I've been told over and over and over again. Did I just highlight the wrong chat? This is the one I was planning to highlight, and I highlighted the wrong one. Anyways, subscribe, so that you won't miss this. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. This live stream now is happening live on Instagram. Follow me over there. Follow me, on all these platforms so that you can keep in touch with me and know what I'm about to do next and don't miss out on anything. Ring that notification bell, like really ring the notification bell if you subscribe. Also, if you're a member, have your notification bell on. So when I make a video that is exclusive for members, you'll be notified as well and you'll get to see it before everyone else. So the notification is important, okay? It is very important. So yeah, please do that. And then thank you, Kirin Joseph for the super chat. So thank you for all you do. God bless you, Frank. God bless you too, and I really appreciate your support for the channel. And this is where we draw the curtain. Stay blessed. Thank you so much, and peace.